Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I am so thrilled tonight to have longtime friend, previous anchor herself of Coach World TV, Terry Yoffe. Hey, Terry.
Hey, sweetie. It's so great to be here again.
It
God,
is
I
fun.
haven't been before a camera in a couple of years.
But you're still looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we just decided, we've been talking, and we just decided, you know what we're going to talk about, and hopefully by the time this show airs, it won't be quite as
Frenetic.
yeah, it'll have calmed down a little. How to coach during difficult times, and that could be. There's a lot of stress going around the whole the whole world and the United States and
Right.
New York City, and it could be something like an election result, or it could be something like the holidays. So
Right.
that's stressful times too.
Yeah.
And we figured, well, you know what? Even though we're kind of suffering from the same feelings, coaches have to pull out their coaching hat and see what's the best course of action. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. Certainly, we talked about it, and as coaches, we really have to show up for our clients. And again, as Laurie said, whether it's this particular time frame of what took place with the election, the holiday time, people losing their jobs.
Yep.
So it's anything where stress, anxiety is heightened. And as coaches, our clients depend on us to really help them through. So I guess the question is, how do we do that when we also may be having our own emotional meltdowns? So, it comes to one of the core competencies and core ideals is self-management.
I thought of another one too. Thanksgiving's coming. That's always good for
Right.
at least 4 traumas, yes.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, so and I think that's so important because it's a profession that we've all chosen, and one where no matter how you get up and you've had a fight with your husband, or you get up and your kid has sassed you, and your client doesn't really care.
Right.
Your client it has to be the
Right.
agenda. So what we're going to try to do is, and you get to punch me if I get personal, and I'll do the same with you. We're going to try to put aside our personal feelings and say, and we chose a few of the points of view cards, which we all know we love. Which one do you want to start with, Terry? Well, hopefully they're all optimistic. There's some in there that weren't, but we didn't choose them.
So one that comes up for me, although they're all great, is we come to a place of choice. And
I'll hold it and say maybe you can see it
I
a
don't
little
know
bit.
if you can.
Very brightly colored.
But we stand always in a place of choice. How do we want to show up? And given difficult times, the choice becomes much harder, really much harder. People want to be Monday morning quarterbacks, given what's happened, and they're not willing to get off of, again, their positions. And as coaches, and we hear clients talk about, I'm stressed, I have to go to work, I don't like my job, and now with this election, what do I do, and blah, 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 blah. And, we have to take a step back and really talk about choice and what choice you have and what choice you don't have and how you want to be. No.
Another thing to watch out, it's funny because you and I did it coming up the stairs, but you want to find somebody to blame. It's like, somebody has to be responsible for this.
Right.
And the reality is, the choice is yours as to how you're going to respond.
Right. So I think that's one choice of if we were to coach, I don't know what tactics or what ideas we could impart or thinking we could impart to our clients. But certainly it's taking a step back, seeing what can we do, what change can we actually do, and what can't we do.
Yeah.
And seeing it's really not about, it's more about how do we come to the world if we can't change what has happened or what's might happen. It's what can we do here to help ourselves in times of stress, no matter what it is.
Exactly, and to use the Thanksgiving dinner as an example, it's like if you're walking into the gathering going, God, I hope my cousin doesn't get drunk again and say something stupid, then you're already setting it up.
Right, exactly.
Whereas if you say, you know what, I'm going to respond with love and gratitude that this person, I like to call it, sometimes I would call proof of existence, that this person still exists no matter, and this is proof of their existence, and I'm going to respond to that in a positive manner and not let it bring me down.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think one of the things that we all do, and I'm sure Laurie sees it with clients, I certainly do, is this is the coaching game, it's the what if game.
Mm-hmm.
What if I go to the dinner and my cousin or my uncle or whomever turns out to be a jerk? What if they drink? What if the dinner isn't right? What if next year things go horrible? And what I try to tell my clients is what's true right now. And what's true right now is we don't know.
Right.
We have no idea. We can base on past experiences.
And should. I mean, that should be a foundation.
There.
Yeah.
We can look at last year's Thanksgiving or last year's holiday and then say, this is what happened. I know it's going to happen again. And that's taking old baggage and bringing it into the present.
Right, right.
Because we don't know. You don't know how this year's Thanksgiving is going to go.
Yeah.
Have no idea. But we get so caught up in our heads with that what if that people get paralyzed. They get stuck and
or
they
don't
forward.
act at all. Yeah,
No, that's exactly right.
It's like, oh, what if I go to this networking thing and nobody talks to me? I'm not going,
Right.
And
Right. Or what if I'm going to start a business? Or what if I have too many clients? Or what if? And then the head or our minds write and talk about this whole scenario of what's going to happen, and by the time it's done, we're already sunk.
Exactly. Yeah. I think if I had to choose one of these cards, I'm going to go with journey. One, because my tagline is life is a journey, not a destination, so enjoy the trip. And two, I'm trying to, myself, and I'm also trying to get my clients to develop an attitude where you walk around and you go, oh man, why did this happen to me? It's like, I was trying to do something good and I spilled milk and the cat jumped all over me and with the, and you just go, why me? And it's like I said, okay, try to turn that around and go, why not me? I'm part of the human race, and so is the cat. Well, not human, I guess, but it's part of the scenario here. Why not me? And it's like instead of complaining, it's like, and we have another card, opportunities, but it's like, why not? Why not let this is part of what's going on now. Consider it a gift. Consider it a gift, and it's like, what can I learn? How can I enhance my skills? How can I further my goodness toward mankind or family kind, whatever shows up at your Thanksgiving dinner table, or how can I spend the day with myself fully with myself and fully present without the stimulus of others, but not because you're afraid, because that's what you want to do, not because you're disappointed. And then after you do the why not me, it's like you said, okay, what if I start a business and I don't get 5 clients in the first month? And it's like, so what? So those are my 2 go-tos right now. Why not? And so what? It's like, so you go to Thanksgiving dinner and the same old fight, and everybody, the people who are going to get drunk got drunk, and you have an aunt who just can't figure out politically correct terms. She's been trying for years, So what? It's family, and it's an hour, it's 2 hours, it's a day, for God's sakes. So when you feel like blocked, like, oh my God, this might happen and this might happen, so what? In the scheme of life, it's not, you know, it's a challenge, it's a gift, it's what can you get out of it? Yeah. Optimistic and hard to do, but if you do one so what a day, I think you're on the right track. It's like, so what? So the bus got me here late. So what?
Yeah, that's.
I believe
so
President Obama said, "Whatever happens, the sun's going to come up tomorrow."
Right. The
So
sun's going to come up tomorrow.
you know,
Right.
and we'll get through
Right.
it somehow, some way.
Right. And the sun will come up tomorrow. I hear Little Annie from the show.
Exactly. Oh no! Now we all are going to be singing that in our heads.
That's,
No.
you know, a journey. We're on a journey, and nobody ever said it was going to be an easy journey.
Yeah.
There's always a lesson to be learned on the journey. If you choice to stand in the place of it's a journey. What I always say to my clients is, we're on an archaeological dig.
Oh, I like that.
You know, you're picking up a rock, you're looking at it, does it work, doesn't it? You go to the next one, and eventually, you know, things start to make sense.
In retrospect, everything makes sense. It's like, oh, that was so good. I got fired. That was so great.
In the
Yay.
end, I bet most people,
Yeah.
you know, when they've got a new job or they're thinking clearly, you know, it happened, and something will usually, you know, make it worthwhile in the end. So I would definitely put choice and journey kind of together.
Far, we got it going here. Yeah, we got it going. I think we should also throw in a little trust. It's like, because it's easy to say, yeah, you know what, in retrospect, this is going to look good, but right now, it sucks. So it's like, it's hard to say, you know what? So I think you have to have a little trust. And the way I do that, and it's like, okay, and this is an old coaching trick, you get the person to go back, well, when was a time when you faced this? And how did you deal with it?
Exactly.
How were you successful? I think we all have to trust that inside us, we've got all the skills and tools we need. It gets blocked out by negative voices and horrible events and things like that. But I think trust is a major part of the journey. It's like, you got to trust the universe.
And yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you've got to, you know, I'm writing actually a blog on, I have blogs called Try Power Of, and this one is Trust. I haven't finished it, but, you know, if you look up what the word means, some, you know, reliable, integrity, and, you know, with the ICF, International Coach Federation, the third core competency is trust and intimacy.
Yeah.
So
That's an interesting point. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, you know, on this journey, we can make a choice to trust and trust ourselves, like the Thanksgiving. Well, when you go and if you see somebody drinking, you have a choice. You could take them aside, and you can change the course of how that night's going to go, if you choose to.
Yeah.
Or you can just let it go and just sit back and say, okay, you know, I don't have to buy into it.
I don't have to let it affect me.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
you know, it's
Right.
and if I guess you could, if someone else is getting in the pathway of something not good, then you can stand up for that person. That's a lot. We hear a lot of that right now. It's like, well, stand up and help everybody, and I think that's good advice all the time. Stand up and do your thing. Yeah, I like that. Yes, one of the core competencies of ICF, the International Coach Federation, is establishing trust and intimacy.
With the client.
And I don't think that means
Right.
anything risque, but developing an atmosphere where everybody can flourish and
Right.
everybody can learn and everybody can bounce off each other and get things done or not. But the lessons are there. Wow, these cards. We just were picking out cards. We had no idea what we were talking about.
Exactly,
And they're
but they
coming
all
out well.
really link
yeah.
together.
So far, so good.
What's the next one?
What's next?
What
Hmm.
I don't know, opportunities.
Yeah.
How can we find opportunities
Yeah.
in these stressful scenarios.
And a better question is, why are there two butts on this card?
A
Under
little one and a
opportunity,
big
a
one.
big butt and a little
Right,
butt. But
well.
that's okay. Whatever the reason, we'll figure it out.
Opportunities at any age.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Okay, that's one good thing. Yes, obviously the grandfather and the grandson will make a whole story up here.
We can, right.
Opportunities are around every corner, for sure, absolutely. And I think part of being able to take advantage of an opportunity is being open and flexible. It's like coaching schools, and I know you got to have a niche and you got to have an action plan, and it's got to be measurable and time-based, and that's fine. I'm all for that. But I will tell people that don't get so worried about your niche. It's going to call you. I mean, you're going to think, oh, like I did, I want to do health and wellness. And then eventually career came around, and then retirement. And I mean, I changed it all the time. So flexibility, I think, for opportunities, awareness, and just an openness to just see what's around and what's available to you.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. You know, when we are closed, opportunities don't come our way. When we're closed-minded, when we're closed in our thinking, nothing happens.
Right.
There's no way for anything to get in. So if we can be on a path where we're open to what comes along, we may see an opportunity that kind of we would never have thought of or never would have happened. If we weren't open and flexible and adaptable, and again, no matter what it is, you know, there is stress, there is anxiety. It's just part of our nature. But the thing is, it doesn't have to run us. We can know that it's there. It's like, you know, one container which holds everything, holds our anxiety, holds our frustrations, but also has the capacity to hold the chance for choice, the chance for being on this great journey, the choice for opportunities. And I know it sounds difficult, and it probably is for all of us. However, it's a choice we make at any given moment. And I tell clients that every time. You have a choice. You can stop, you can pause. You don't have to get triggered. Because you can change that trigger. And then it opens the door, wow, I didn't buy into it.
Right.
So now what can I do?
And I have this crazy relationship. It can be a motivator also.
Yeah.
I have this crazy relationship with fear. As soon as I'm onto myself about fear, it's like, you got to do it. And I hope that's not going to be fatal to me in the end. But I'm discerningly, I hope I can do that. But it's like, okay, I'll give an example. Like when this studio decided everything used to be analog. I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it all went digital. And so I found myself going, well, you know what? I've done this show enough. I don't know. I'm tired. I don't need to do this anymore. And then and I was really playing the whole scenario out. And then I realized it was because I was afraid that I couldn't do the digital, and I said, now you gotta do it. And thank God I did, because I figured out that, I figured it out, and what I don't know, the guys help, so that's good. But, so it can also be a motivator. But that's interesting, on the points of view, beautiful, ergonomically correct.
There's opportunity.
Yeah, it's like opportunity dances with those who are already on the dance floor, a quote by Jackson Brown. So you got to get out there. Like you said, you can't be closed in. You have to be out there, and you have to be in the game. You got to, as Lotto says, you got to play. You got to
play.
What is it?
You gotta, I don't know it.
You got to win it. No, I don't know. Whatever.
Piggybacking off of what you said about fears, I have a license. I haven't driven in a really long time, and I get joked about it.
Understandable in New York City.
And what I realized was, it's not the driving, it's the fear I have around it. And I don't have a whole lot of fears. And there was another one, which is, I'm not going to talk about, but I have decided to take driving lessons.
Yay!
Again, I'll be in New Jersey for a week, and I'm already calling driving schools.
Oh, I love it.
I'm going to take lessons on the fear, not that I don't know how to drive, but there's new car, the new cars, there's they're different, in the touching, in the movement. So I have decided that I am going to get over that, the fear of the driving, because it's been gripping me.
I love that.
So
it's a motivator. You would think that's a totally negative thing, and it's not.
And
it's a
been
motivator.
A while.
Yeah.
My family has laughed at me. And, the fact that I'm doing this, my husband went, whoa.
What?
Another thing I have is finance. I have a great fear of doing all of that because my husband's done it. Now I'm learning it.
Does that mean stock markets and all that confusing stuff?
Everything.
Wow,
and,
okay.
It's getting over that fear. And I think part of it came, another blog I did was the power of being in the driver's seat.
Oh, a nice metaphor, yeah.
And, on certain things, I'm tired of being the passenger.
That's real, just metaphor all over the place. All right.
And that was what the blog was about.
I love that.
And it just decided I cannot have these fears. And they're easy to overcome.
And if
there you go.
hit a fire hydrant, so what?
Not my car, so I won't care.
There you go, really, so what? Or if you get a stock that's like, so
the
what?
only thing I'd be afraid of is hitting someone. Not inanimate objects.
There are plenty of trees out there you can hit. Don't worry about it.
I'm hoping not to.
No, I'm not. Seriously. So yeah.
Opportunities are there, and I decided not to cower any longer.
I applaud you on air. Thank you. Wow, that's a great, thank you for sharing that. That's so cool. I'm going to go with generosity as the next step. And that's simply, okay, you look at Terry and she's beautiful and competent and she's been in and out of corporate world. Who would know she's afraid of driving? We need to be more generous with people because, and let's use the election. Some of us are all walking around sad, and other people are all walking around jubilant. And for the last 8 years, it's been reversed, So we need to be a little more conscious of what other people are. Walk a mile. No, don't walk a mile. That's too long. Walk a few feet in their moccasins and see how could this be affecting them. It's not. Don't take everything personally. What is that, Don Miguel Ruiz?
Yes.
Take nothing personally.
Right,
it's not about
the four
you.
agreements.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about you. It's about. So be a little conscious of how the other person is going to respond and react to
even if
what's
it's
going
hard.
Oh,
even if it's difficult.
It is. That's why you need a coach. We can help you.
There's and I don't know the saying, but I think it was said by Dan Rockwell. Something about you can have a lot of skills, but if you're not generous of heart, it doesn't matter. So, generosity doesn't have to be giving people things or money. It's about opening up your heart. Yeah. And I know for a lot of people this time, they're not willing to do that. And somewhere we're all going to have to.
Yeah.
If we want to have a fairly decent 4 years, or again, not only that, but whether it's the holiday season where you're against it or you don't like it, or even somebody that's lost a job and is wondering, what am I going to do next and how am I going to get there? So, all of these cards make sense, and having generosity, which is, I'm sure, very difficult, but being able to open up.
Yeah. I've developed, and it's a mantra, and I love mantras because you can say it all the time. But besides, why not? And so what? My other mantra is one person, one day at a time. I mean, we don't have to go out and change the world, and we can't. There are some things we just have to say, that this happened and we don't like it. But take the Thanksgiving dinner again. One person. If there's a person who always has a need to drink, or always says the wrong thing, or always is sitting in a corner, make that your person. Make that your goal for the dinner. It's like I'm gonna include this person, and I'm gonna listen to their story and just one person at a time. And that's what the whole coaching profession's about, changing the world one person at a time.
Exactly.
So it may seem overwhelming now, and a lot of us are in the overwhelm. It may seem overwhelming, but it's make it into bite-sized pieces, one person at a time. We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's, I love that, because that's exactly how I work with clients. Most clients or people look at something as Mount Everest.
Yes.
I always use that because my friend climbed it. But, that's overwhelming. Very few people, there are a lot of people that climb it, but most of us don't.
Right.
Because, the whole concept of it is just massive. However, as I tell clients, as you just said, if you make bite-sized pieces or little molehills, that's manageable.
Yeah.
One person at a time, one situation at a time, one emotion at a time, one goal at a time.
Yeah.
If you've got a vision, break it down.
Yeah.
So they become manageable.
I definitely, and that you're right, that's a coaching trick, to make people to see that it, once again, we're back on the journey, that it's a journey. You don't have to get to the top of Mount Everest. What you have to do is overcome fear, be persistent in your goal. That was another card.
Oh, persistence.
Be persistent.
Go.
If it's something that you really want, listen to your gut, and keep saying that this is really what I want. Reevaluate, but certainly be persistent in what you're doing. And I want to say go from
the heart.
Go from the heart, which is love. I can't believe we managed these cards perfectly, and we really just, we'll take that one. That's pretty. But yeah, go if you go from the heart with good intentions. It's hard to mess up. It's really hard to mess up. And if you mess up, so what? Fix it. Next time, do it over. Well, if you had a do-over, what would you do? So
I agree, and the reason I'm kind of hesitant is I know that in times of stress and anxiety, it's very difficult to imagine any of these, especially love.
Yeah.
If you've gotten fired, how can you love the person that let you go? If you've had bad holiday experiences, whomever it's with, or given difficult times. But we've all been there before, and we have survived. What comes right up to my face is 9/11.
Yeah. So we can survive 11/9.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
But you know what? I think it starts with love yourself. Love yourself enough, and then spread it on out there. Terry, it's over. It's over, and thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so
I
much.
feel better just talking with you, so I'm hoping everybody else feels the same way.
Great. Thank you so much,
Yeah, check out
Laurie.
her website. She's got a lot of cool things on it.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.